We have with us today a very special guest with us, Dave Bess. And, I would like Dave to tell a little bit of his story because, well, first and foremost, let me just give you guys a quick background. So, a mutual friend of ours between Dave and I came to me and said, Mike, you have to meet Dave. I go, okay, Logan, why do I have to meet Dave? He goes, you guys match energy like no two people I've ever seen. You are pretty much like the carbon copies of each other. The only difference is that you're short, he's tall. I said, great. Well, let's set it up. And so Dave and I had an opportunity to hop on a Zoom call together. And it was like, we were brothers from another mother, just meeting for the first time. And so, Dave, I would just love for you to introduce yourself to our audience, who you are, where you're at, what you do.
Oh man, where do you want me to start? I'm gonna start like to my teenage days, like first day going to the gym, or like pandemic. Like where's the starting point here?
I think it's all relevant. Like that's all part of your journey of how you got to where you are.
Okay. Okay. I guess we're gonna go to like 2003. First time I actually stepped into a gym, Titan Gym. I grew up in a small little town in Southeast Missouri, so Titan Gym was the name. And just like everyone, like the first time you go to the gym, it's very uncomfortable. So still today, I have that feeling of like I know what it's like that first time you go to the gym, just that uncomfortable feeling. My best friend Brad's like, you need to start working out. I was getting over a breakup. Okay, so to shout out to Felisa, I won't mention her last name. I was going through a breakup, and I was like, I need a little confidence. I need to fill up my shirt sleeves a little bit. So I'll still remember that first time I walked into a gym. It was Brad and a meathead cop, and they were doing bicep curls in the squat rack. And I was hooked. From that moment on, I was like, this is awesome. So, long story short, I graduated with a degree in finance from the University of Missouri St. Louis. I was like, I'm going to be a hot shot stockbroker and realized that that just wasn't for me. So I worked for Under Armour for, I guess, 4 years. It was when the retail was really new. So I worked there for 3 or 4 years, and then my dad was in a bad car accident. I grew up on the family farm, so I'm like, I was in a point in my life where I'm like, I knew it was time for a different chapter, so I moved home and I took care of the family farm for, I guess, a year and a half. And I always knew that Titan gym doing those bicep curls, like I knew I wanted to do that at some point, like pass that on to people. So 2011, my same best friend Brad, I randomly moved to the state of Arizona. So I got into the industry 2011, rented space. So I was an independent contractor. I always said I'm never going to work for anyone but myself. Um, in 2014, I was an idiot, another breakup, and I was like, I'm going to become a professional bodybuilder. So like my first, like I'm going to take it real serious was end of 2014. Can I tell you guys the fun story of how I like the moment I decided I was going to be a pro bodybuilder? It's a good
Absolutely.
story.
Please.
Okay, so I'm a Missouri Tigers fan. They were playing in the Big 12 championship game. I went to a bar by myself. Okay, Ubered home, and I was in one of those like Jack Bauer. I don't know if you guys have watched 24. I was in one of those like 24, and I remember the moment. I was sitting on the couch, and I was drinking some Mick Ultra and eating some Butterfinger minis, and I was like, today's the day that I'm going to take it serious. So I went to the mirror, I snapped a photo, and I said, I'm going to become a pro bodybuilder in 1 year. So the next year of my life was absolutely stupid. I did probably 10 bodybuilding shows, and I messed up my back pose at the Nationals in 2014. I got off the stage, everyone's like, welcome to the pro league. And I'm like, this is amazing. I didn't realize I messed up my back pose. So there was 57 guys in my class. I got third. So I missed my pro card by 1 point. Everything happens for a reason. God made me mess up that back pose because I was going to continue down the route of bodybuilding. And my now wife would have, there's no way we would be together today. And we wouldn't have, I'm a dad of a 4 year old and a 1 year old. I always say God works in funny ways. And even those moments, it feels like it's a loss, it's a huge win. So long story short, I was a bodybuilder at heart for my first 10 years in the industry. Uh, 4 hours a week. I didn't have kids. I was just kind of a successful gym owner, but I didn't really have a ton of like professional responsibility. I had that capacity. I could dedicate 3, 4, 5 hours a week. I could jump on the treadmill, maybe a stair climber. I had so much capacity, I could invest 5, 7 hours a week into training. And I had the capacity on Sundays because I didn't have a 1-year-old that was a little terrorist. I could do 3 hours of meal prep. So I went through the journey the first 10 years, really coaching people like the 20-year-old version of me with that unlimited capacity. So I always knew down deep there had to be a different way. Like there had to be like a different way. I had no idea high intensity training existed until I was having a conversation with Kevin Quinn. He's a gym owner who I mentor from Baltimore, Maryland. And my mom was diagnosed with Parkinson's last February. And Kevin specializes in working with clients with Parkinson's. And he's like, your mom needs to get into high intensity training. And like most people, I'm like, I'm not sending my mom to Orange Theory, Kevin. I'm like, dude, are you nuts? He's like, you've never heard of high intensity training? I'm like, no, what is the high intensity training? He walked me through. I ended up, getting the book that everybody gets with McGuff, Body by Science. I did one workout and I was hooked. I was just like, where has this been my entire life? I'm a busy professional. I'm a busy dad. I've missed out on so many freaking memories with my kids because I thought in my head the industry says that you have to work out 3, 4, 5 hours a week. So I get a little emotional saying like I haven't trained any different since that one. And I worked out on a tonal with one of my clients who's actually coming to my house in a couple hours. So I introduced him to high intensity training, my same workout, and I call him Big Sexy. He's 6'8", Kent. He comes over to my house once a week, no back pain. He's down 40 pounds. Like, yeah, we're doing some things nutritionally. He's drinking the Kool-Aid too. And that's when I said, we're building Greenlight into a franchise model. And we were leaning into you need to come to the gym 3 to 4 hours a week. And I said, no more. So it's been probably an 18-month transition. And now all of our Greenlights, we do high intensity training for the delivery of our workouts. So definitely not the most science-backed guy. I'm still brand new to that aspect, but I know this is the style of training that's going to it's going to allow you to make memories with your family, and it allows you to build a closer relationship to whatever you believe in. Like it truly is, it's magical, and you don't get hurt. Okay. And you see great results. I've maintained all of my muscle. And then when I decided to tighten up the nutrition, like I dropped body fat. So it really is, this is the only way to train, period. It's not the only way to train. If you're a 20-year-old, like go to the gym 4 to 5 hours a week. But that's kind of my story, guys. Sorry, that was long-winded. But
I love it. I just want to know when he's buying a plane ticket to come visit because it's a great story.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
You know what I mean? What I hear in that is like you're the poster child for the practical reasons to implement high intensity training. And I love what you started with. It was your mom, right, with Parkinson's and somebody telling her she has to do high intensity training. And your visceral response, I think, is exactly what most people's response would be in that instance. Like, are you nuts? You must be crazy. You don't do that to somebody who has Parkinson's, but you have to then understand the context of what high intensity training means. And unfortunately, we are in a world, in a society where that term high intensity has been directly equated to, like you said, Orange Theory, your boot camps, high intensity interval training. It's like, wait, my mom's going to go run wind sprints, do the Tabata protocol. No, it's just recognizing the importance of the effort that somebody is putting into the exercise that they're doing.
Yeah.
But it doesn't have to be impactful. It can be done safely.
Yeah. Well, it's impactful in a different way, right? We're not impacting our body in a negative way. It's impactful from a results standpoint. Where did you get the name Greenlight from?
Oh, that's another story. So probably connects a little to Matthew McConaughey. We did a 10-year vision board with a new branding mentor. And he's like, Dave, paint me the picture where Greenlight is in 10 years. So like one of my business partners is from Canada. So we built it out at a Canadian castle. And the question was, who's given the keynote? And I'm like, it's Matthew McConaughey, like, duh. So Greenlight's, the book, kind of came out at the same time that we were building Greenlight. And we initially landed on the name Uplift. So it was Uplift Personal Training. It was taken, there was a gym like in Connecticut and where we're franchising it. So we're like, okay, we have to change on the dime. And it's a true story. It's a red light story. So I was on the way to the gym that I was running at the time, It was 4:47 a.m. and I'm at cross streets and I'm stuck at this red light and it just never ended. It was one of those red lights. Have you guys been at like, why is this like, I'm getting ready to zoom past it. I'm like, why is this light for, and it hit me like a ton of bricks that most people, they live their entire lives at red lights. They're
Wow.
stuck and they're living a life that's not filled with purpose and potential. And that's gives me goosebumps saying it. That's how Greenlight was born. It's like we want to teach people not just to lose weight and get fit, but like show them how to live life. And when red lights hit, no, they're going to happen, and yellow lights are going to happen. But if we can just give them the opportunity to really identify more green lights, like that's what fitness is to me. So that's the story of Greenlight.
I love that so much. And I got to get caught up to speed. So, what does your gym model then look like now? Is it training? Is it open gym?
Yeah. So we do 30-minute, 6x1 small group personal training. Okay. So concept is, and keep in mind, guys, this is, we're not 100% dialed in, but right now, this is what we do. So it's all selectorized machines. Okay. 6 members, up to 6. Our average group is going to have 3 to 4. We've gamified it. So there's First Street, Second Avenue, Third. Everyone's doing the same workout. So 6 machines. And then what happens each week, there's a different tempo. So I don't know what the tempo is this week. It could be 4040. Then they have their designed reps and there's a countdown. So it tells them when to turn. So 4 seconds up, 4 seconds down. And then each week there's a different afterburn. So 30-second, it could be a 30-second hold, 30-second negative. So we paired those two together. We're getting through 6 or 7 exercises within the 30 minutes. And right now we're running the classes every 45 minutes. So 30 minutes, kind of our concept is we want you to come to 2 sessions a week. Like 2 sessions is the quota. Our membership, we offer up to 3 sessions. So if you're in one of those seasons where you have a little bit more capacity and you want to come in for that additional third pump, then do it. So that's our workout. Really the secret sauce to what we do, though, it's the life outside of the gym. So have you guys watched the movie Jerry Maguire? It's a
Of
great
course.
movie.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I had a moment in 2011. I was watching Jerry Maguire with my dad. It was just as I was transitioning into fitness. It's kind of that Jerry Maguire moment, the first couple minutes where he's sweating in the hotel. He's writing the memoir, and he's like, less clients is the concept. And I was like, how cool would it be if that was the concept with fitness? Because everything is do more cardio, right? Do more training, more supplements, more clients. Like, what if we just focused on less? So kind of the cornerstone to everything that we've really built from Greenlight is like we max out all of our clubs at 150 members. So there's never going to be more than 150. Why? Because we want every single one of our clients having access to their coach for life outside of the gym. So all of our clients, they meet with their coach every single month, and we've really dummied it down to where most clients are just focusing on their North Star habit. So what's the one thing that you can do this month outside of training in here where you're going to get the most bang for your buck? So sometimes that might be eat more protein. Maybe it is to do your monk manual. Maybe it's, hey, let's do some daily gratitude every single day for the next 30 days. And then we have our 12-week transformation mentorship program that we sell for those clients that are really looking to transform, not just externally, but internally. So like our general Fit Forever program, it's designed, you're still meeting with your coach, you're focusing on one habit at a time. And if we really identify like, hey, this client, like, it's not about the fitness. It's they want to find their voice again, or they want to become the best version of themselves as a dad, or build a closer relationship to God. Like those are our dream clients. So we have a 12-week transformational program that we sell. It's not for everybody, but it's our goal that, every 10 people that sign up, we want 2 of them to go through our transformational program. So we've just really built it to where like you have access to your coach. And if you're ever ready to take your life to the next level, that's what we're here for. So that's the Greenlight model in a nutshell.
I love it. I mean, I see so many parallels that I think it's amazing. And I feel like we have to come visit, and you got to come visit too, New York.
Yes, 100%.
That is very cool.
I mean, we're definitely speaking the same language here. And what I really love about this as well, you said it and it's absolutely true, but most people are going to think that this is crazy. The exercise is the easy part, right? Like showing up for 2 workouts a week is
Yeah.
manageable for anyone. And I know that we both work with very similar demographics, right? We're working with the busy parent, busy professional. Oftentimes it's both, right? They are the busy parent and as well as being a busy professional. And what they need more so than anything else, everybody comes in thinking it's the workout they need in order to
Yeah.
change their physiology, lose more body fat, and have more energy. And while that's all true, it's the inside work that matters that much more. And it's recognizing the two to three workouts a week is reasonable for anybody, especially if it's 30 minutes. But are you going to dedicate the time necessary to do all of the inside work, which for some people, that's a 24 hour a day job, 7 days a week.
At
That doesn't
least.
stop.
At
That doesn't
least.
stop.
Yeah. I gotta ask, so a 1 and a 4-year-old, what is your favorite thing to do with your kids as a dad?
It's gonna get me emotional here. We're in a season of life right now. I'm the most productive. Like my magic time block is from basically 4:30 a.m. to 7:30 a.m. We're in a season of life now to where our, I guess, almost 18-month-old, like holy jumping. She wakes up at like 2:30. My wife never sleeps, and I try to she looks at me like I'm a monster. There's no way. So she doesn't sleep. So for the longest time, I kind of struggled with that. Like I wasn't able to be super present during that time, even though I'm like, hey, I'm stepping up, I'm being a dad here, but I wasn't as present as I should be. So this is the new thing that I've done probably the last 2 months. I've just learned to let go. And it sounds so simple. My favorite thing to do is that 90-minute time block where we just get to hang out and have fun. And more importantly, I just get to be present. So like today, for example, they like to be thrown up in the air. So once again, that's why you guys all need to be doing strength training. So I threw them up 5 times each. We're in the backyard. Like Brax gets a little bit jealous. He's 4, so sometimes he punches her. So like I'm hurting. It's like herding cattle. But at the end of the day, it's just that 90 minutes of just absolute. I'm doing my dad work right now, and work doesn't matter. I turn off my phone. That's the. It's really simple, but it's the best 90 minutes of my day every day.
Awesome. I love that so much. And I think for people who always feel like, there's never enough time, there's never enough time. I think the stress of thinking about getting
Yeah.
healthy, getting fit, working out is actually worse than just carving out the 30 minutes, which I think a model like yours is what people need to hear and understand. This is not just Mike and my opinion. It is
Yeah.
research and science backed, but here's somebody else doing it very successfully, and you live more life that way.
Yeah, you make more memories. It's one of those like I love conversations, especially with dads because I am a dad. Like when we get down, because everyone's coming to us because like what we have that's very I'm not gonna call it gimmicky, but it can be very gimmicky. Like I like doing an awareness ad, be like 30 minutes, we get you in the best shape of your world. But then we sit down and you have the important conversation and you talk to that dad and they're 20, 25 pounds overweight. They put their, they put everything just kind of like on themselves on the back burner. And they talk about how they want to lose the 20 pounds, they want to lose the 25 pounds. But then as you continue asking questions, you start hearing that about the workout at all, right? Like it's not about the weight. That's not the issue. Uh, the issue is like it's what that represents. And it's little things like I'm not being the most present version of myself and I'm missing out on kids. I'm missing out on my kids' memories, but even more importantly in that, my kids are missing out with memories with me. So that's my favorite part of what we do is helping someone really identify that there's something a lot bigger going on here outside of traditional fitness goals.
Yeah. I love that. We're gonna pause for a quick second. So where were we? We were
We're talking about dads.
we're talking about dads.
Mm-hmm.
I actually want to segue this then into your wife. Does your wife have a role in the business? Do you guys work together, or like what does that look like?
She's in the season right now to where it's mom mode right now. She had a very, very tough pregnancy, tough delivery. So she's right in the middle of just kind of just going 24/7 in mom mode. I'll be honest, like the end goal, what I see for Greenlight, it's me and her leading the movement together. Reason being that I'm still a meathead at heart, and there's gonna be a percentage of moms out there. They're not going to want to hear Dave's messaging 24/7. So it's just whenever, once again, it's whenever God puts those paths together. Maybe it doesn't happen. I can see us though. We initially started our first high ticket program together. It was called the Potato Physique. So we wanted to, you're going to love this. We wanted to teach new moms they could lose weight while eating carbs. I know you guys are carnivores, so don't jump all over me here. But we did that. We did our first movement together, and we didn't know what the heck we were doing, right? Like we had no idea how to do a Facebook Live. We took messy action, but we've already had that. We did 180 straight days of Facebook Lives together. So, and I'm loud. They call me the Kool-Aid man, and the gym so I mentor. They call me the Kool-Aid man. She's very soft spoken, and it's a really good. We balance each other out very very well. So, in the future, I would say that there's definitely potential.
I love that. And I just want to pause here for a moment to whoever is listening. I love Dave. Like, first of all, I love your faith. And that's the most important thing to us. It's God, then it's each other, then it's our kids, and then it's everything else. And I think when we get that twisted, it becomes dysfunctional. Like for some people, it's like fitness first, or making money first. It's God first. Mike always says if we put God first at like the top of this triangle, we're both working towards each other. Like we will become closer by putting God at the top. But I love how you described this as a season for your wife. The answer was not like, no, she's not working. She's just because as women, those are things we say over ourselves. I'm just a mom right now. Like I'm just that is a beautiful season. And quite frankly, if I could go back to when both of our boys, who are now 7 and 10, when they were 1 and 1 years old, if I had a little bit more of that perspective that I have now back then, I definitely would have been a bit more present. So kudos to her for living in this season, embracing the season, and kudos to you for supporting her in that season. I think that's one of the most important things we could do as partners is recognizing where we're at and supporting each other. Like yesterday when I was sick and Mike was like, you got this, babe.
The only issue is now Corey Beth recognizes that past season and wants to go back to that past season, and Mike is like, nah, we're good. Two is a great number.
Position him for more babies.
Yeah.
He's like, no, we're done.
I'm like, the world was made for families of four. You go to a
Oh, I love
hotel,
it.
you got two hotel
It's
beds.
true.
You have that third kid, you got to add a second room. I have two hands, even if I'm by myself, I have a hand on each of them, whether it's on their hands or the back of their neck. That just depends
Yes.
on the way that they're acting at the moment.
I
So,
love
yes, I agree. But what I would love to go to though for a second, go ahead.
No, just keep moving. He had to justify that. I just wanted you to
it.
notate
Justify.
how much
Yes.
justification was needed for that.
Oh my God.
Moving on.
Moving on. Um, it's funny though that you had made mention that you got people lean on carbs, and to be quite frank, that's exactly how we started as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We were big on, especially during that season of bodybuilding for us, which for me was a 13-year career. For you, it was 3.5, 4 years.
Yeah.
And the whole concept behind what we did it was like carbs for conditioning.
So many carbs.
Like eat as
Oh,
many
that's so
carbs
cool. Yeah.
as many carbs as you can, and try to maintain your condition. And it was so interesting because now very much, I'm going to just speak for us, very much in the same way that high intensity training became that practical approach to fitness. It's that recognition that, oh, I don't need to be in the gym 4, 5, 7 hours a week, which was me too, by the way, prior to discovering high intensity training. But to then discover it and realize, wait a second, I can maintain
Yeah.
all of that progress and make even greater progress
Mike's trying to convert you, just so you know.
Yes.
doing
Like
less.
I'm like Joel Osteen right now. I'm just
Hold
listening.
on,
I need
like,
to get some ribeye steak tonight.
I know, don't ruin this. I just about had him.
He's a coach. He knows
I know. I know. Well, I'm also doing it to our audience too. So, but they know it's coming.
It's crazy though to go from, because I was a cardio queen. Was a vegetarian for 2 years. I lived on the elliptical on the treadmill. Like I never saw any results. I'm like, is my body ever gonna change? But for us, yeah, like we did the super high carb, and really this is less work, less thinking, less prep, less food shopping, less cooking. Like literally right before we came down to record this, I grilled up 4 burgers. I ate
Yeah.
two. You only had one. And I
I
cooked
filled up
up
before that.
I cooked up eggs. So he got three, I got three, a couple slices of
Yep.
cheese. Like I am solid until dinner time tonight. Like it's
Uh,
so easy. So when you
I
want to
love
know more about that, you can call Mike.
Yeah,
Well,
you guys nailed it though. It's the ease of it, like the simplicity. The way I teach business, the way I teach sales, the way I teach anything is like the simplest thing does win.
Yeah.
I just love my chicken sandwiches. Every Tuesday, I make my chicken sandwiches. So like but guess what? There 100% could be a season in my life where I need simplicity, and I would 100% embrace carnivore. So yeah, if you guys draw me up a plan, I'm willing to do it for a week,
Love the willingness.
for a
done.
month.
But really, I mean, what it comes down to, though, here we are, three parents sitting around and talking about what is the most efficient way that I can maintain my health, maintain my shape. And listen, everybody here knows that like I am still all about vanity. I want to look good. I want to look good naked.
We should
my
all want to look
life's
good, Nate.
goal. Absolutely.
Secretly, everyone does. People won't say it, but everyone thinks it. So let's just put that
Fact,
out there.
Yeah. But the
fact.
problem is that, well, the red light for many people is that I'm sitting here and I want this and I want to go forward, but and then they list all of the things, all of the reasons why they can't. And many of it boil down to efficiency or simplicity, that
Mhm.
it's too hard to get from where I am to where I want to go because there's all these other stoplights after that one.
Mhm.
And that I think is the thing that most people need to break through, which goes back to our original discussion about how it's really the inside work more than anything that we need to focus on.
Let me ask this. How many clients would you say you've coached ballpark?
Oh my gosh. Like gym owners too, or just end user clients for fitness?
If you coached them, you were a coach.
Gosh, it's probably over 1,000 at this point.
Love it. That's
Uh,
amazing.
uh,
What would you say are the most common? Because they're probably the same, but what would you say in your experience have been the most common red lights that people come up against when it comes to fitness?
for most busy professionals, parents, entrepreneurs, we spend so much time on, I would say time. Time is the biggest red light. It's just like we're all at capacity 24/7. You go to Fox News and they say it's the end of the world. CNN says it's the end of the world from a different angle, right? We're so caught up in Instagram and Facebook. Like I would say the biggest obstacle for most people, it's time. But I'll also tie that into the industry is really preaching that there's one way and that's the only way. So they're getting that messaging at them. Like every scroll, it's a different solution. So they're just so, I would say, overwhelmed. Like I would say it's kind of a tie. Like most people are coming in just so overwhelmed because they hear Dave talking about potatoes or king, and then they hear you guys talking about carnivore. And like we're both so like open-minded now, but guess what? I wasn't back in the day. It was if you're keto, you're a loser, right? Like that's but they hear that freaking messaging every single day. Then they hear messaging from trainers saying you need to dedicate 5 hours a week or you're not serious, right? So I always say it's that overwhelm, and then it's the time. Like very, very few people have that capacity to train 3 to 4 to 5 hours a week. So I would say those are, and then it's just the limiting beliefs. It's that little gremlin inside of your head saying like, I'm not good enough. Like it all starts there, period. No ifs, ands, or buts. Like it starts there, and then kind of the time and overwhelm their symptoms. But it's like, I want to help you attack that inner gremlin to say, no, I am good enough. Right? If we can fix it there, then they're going to trust the process. They're connecting their fitness goals to a bigger why. Everything will take care of itself. But the biggest red light is that gremlin from the 1980s, great movie that says, hey, I'm not good enough.
Mm, that is so good. And how do you handle the time thing? I mean, obviously the training that you do is so efficient, but how do you tackle that when you're talking to someone interested in embarking on the fitness journey?
Yeah. So how do I sell structure to the end user? Because structure isn't it's not sexy. Um, I would say that's why I'm such a huge fan of a North Star habit. So I remember when we first started selling transformational, higher ticket programs, someone would come in, I'll drop 14 different habits. I'm like, we're doing this, we're doing some breath work, we're doing some meditation, you're gonna pray with the kids before bed. And so I would put so much on them and I get people excited, but then they weren't compliant with it. So what we do now is like we just start so simple. And then those will stack over time. Like it's shocking. I got this from one of my nutrition mentors. If you just focus on one thing at a time, the compliance is like a 40x. Like it's insane. So for most people, instead of saying we're going to tackle everything, it's like, no, what are we going to tackle this month that's going to give you the most bang for your buck? My two favorite ones: eat protein with each meal. If we can have every man, woman, and child just eating protein with each meal, we're 85% there. And then I'm just such a huge fan of intentional movement. Move your body with intention, not for calorie burn for this guy right here. Do it every single day. So we've created something, it's brand new. I call it the daily double. So do 10 minutes of intentional movement and parlay that up with 10 minutes that you do something for up here. So that could be 10 minutes of a yoga flow followed up with 10 minutes of gratitude, or maybe it's 10 minutes of going for a walk with your wiener dog and then parlaying that up with the Ed Milet podcast. So I would say that's the two. That's my two. It's like, if we can focus on protein and moving our body with intention, man, a lot of the other stuff, it's very overrated, as long as the cornerstone is the 60 to 90 minutes of strength training.
Love that beyond. This is kind of an aside on the protein thing. Literally same conversation with a client this morning. He was sitting next to me and she was like, but should I also like be worrying about like my sugar and my carbs? I'm like, we're just going to focus on protein. But what about
Yes,
like my bedtime habits? And I'm like, just the protein. Well, what
protein.
about like how much water? I'm like, protein. Let's keep. She's like, wow, this is really simple. I'm like, that's the point, right? Like that's the whole point. So my question
100%.
is, did you happen to catch any of the coverage of the Olympics and the fact that there was literally no animal-based protein in the Olympic Village this year?
What? That's insane. I'm not an Olympic guy at all. I'm a hockey guy, so I'll watch the Winter Olympics. That is wild. That sounds like it's made up.
Mike, did you
Holy,
see those videos or no?
I heard about it. I did not engage
oh
because as
man,
soon as
no
I
animal protein?
heard that, I was like, this is
Wild.
absolutely
There was this
ridiculous.
big, political push for
Yeah, of course.
plant-based protein and all this stuff. And it's funny, there were TikToks of Olympians leaving the village, like, I escaped, like, I can't wait to eat this steak, like eating burgers, like literally things they could not get in the Olympic Village. So more proof protein is very important for our bodies.
Well, and
And
what it really comes down to, it's the lever, right? It's like, what is the one lever you could
one
pull
love.
that would move all of these other issues out of the way? And nutritionally, I'm going to say that, yeah, I agree. It's definitely protein. When it comes to our physicality, it's resistance training. Like those two levers, don't
Mhm,
overcomplicate it. As long
mhm.
as you keep it simple, it's something that'll be followable. I
Yeah.
just made that word up. But the fact is that people will be able to actually follow through on those actions.
I'm gonna actually quote you on that. If Marie Forleo can say figure outable, you can say followable.
Followable,
Yep,
followable.
that's
I'm
good.
shocked I actually got that right.
That was good.
I love it. One of my sayings, I yell this from a mountain: if you can't follow it for the next 40 years, then don't even start it. Like that's the mindset, that long time horizon. Should I be eliminating all bread? Can you do it for the next 40 years of your life? No. Okay, then let's go back to the drawing board. So, like, I feel as fitness professionals, if we can build out strategies with that long time horizon, then gosh, dog, do we get to change so many. We get to 10x the number of people that are going to be consistent with their routine, that they're going to see that result, and they're going to enjoy the process along the way. So I always run everything through I'm turning 41 here next month. So it's like, can 80-year-old Dave do it? And if 80-year-old Dave can't do that, like there's little pushes in my life, but I'm probably not going to introduce anything unless I can see it on that longer time horizon.
I love that so much. And I think that just a simple shift like that for people, it'll 10x people's results, but it will 100x people not doing dumb things. Whether it be the pills, like everything that we do, and we see those infomercials, like, oh, I got to get my NutriSlim or whatever it is, it's that short-term vision of like, I'm going to do this so that I can have or be or whatever. And it never works. I mean, we have a client and I love her. She's a medical doctor and she called, she's been out for a couple of years. And she was like, yeah, I lost like 10 pounds. I'm like, awesome. What'd you do? She's like, Ozempic. I'm like, did it work? She's like, no, as soon as I went off, I gained it all back.
So at the end of the day, you still have to build the habits.
Well, so
That,
she's back in the gym
yeah.
doing the things, which is great. I'm very proud of her for coming back, like
Yeah.
no judgment, no shade, whatever. What would you say are some of your favorite client stories of people that have now been introduced to your new philosophy of exercise and working out? What results have you seen? Have they come in and said, like, I am so happy I have more time. I'm so happy I have to spend less time working out. I can't believe I get these results. Like, what are some of the things that your clients are saying?
Well, across the board, since moving to the time efficient workouts, like it blows people's minds that they can, like, it's that sense of they have freedom back in their lives, like because the industry brainwashes us that we have to work out X number of hours. So I would say across the board, that's a very common like I can't believe this is possible, right? It's like it's that sense of freedom. Like I go by William Wallace from Braveheart yelling freedom. Like that's what high intensity training is. At the end of the day, for most people, it's just that freedom of like, wow, I can do what I need to do and only do it in an hour, 90 minutes a week. So I would say that's a very consistent theme. That's not what gets me out of bed though. Like, whew, I'm gonna get emotional here. I have so many of these stories. Client who joined our Greenlight. So she was one of the very first ones who, so our Mesa location, we opened it up 5 minutes from my house so we could go all in on this 30-minute model. So she was one of the very first consults. Lindsay was her name, and recruited her from a Facebook group. So I'm a part of our community Facebook group. I talked about the time efficient workouts. I got on the phone with her and she talked about how she wanted to prep for a bodybuilding competition. Okay. So I was like, I could just feel her energy though. So I was like, hey, come in and let's sit down and really talk. And through that conversation, everything was just surface level. And I was poking and I was prodding. And finally I challenged her. I'm like, why are you here? Really, why are you here? And she just really opened up, and it all connected to her amazing son who is 16, and she knew that she wasn't being the best leader in the house for him, right? And she ended up going through the program, and she went through the 12-week program, and she's actually up 20 pounds. That's the funny part. Like she lost the weight over the course of the last 8 months. She's put on 20 pounds. So like externally, she's a completely different human being. But if you were to ask her, what did you really get out of the program? She's just a more engaged, badass mom. And this is one of my favorite. I'd never push any habits on anyone. I didn't with her. She reads 2 chapters of the Bible every single day. So we built that into her plan. So that's someone who came into the journey to put on a little bit of muscle, lose body fat, maybe potentially train for a bodybuilding competition, and fast forward the clock. Now, like I'm going to put her in charge of our Mom 3.0 program. So we're behind the scenes, and we want to create a program specifically for moms. The best way to describe a transformational program to me, the way that we sell it, it's a personal development program that uses fitness as the vehicle. She came out a different person though. That's it. Like that's my favorite stories is like when we can profoundly change someone's story. That's our tagline at Greenlight is you're ready, change your story. When you're ready, you're going to come in. We're not going to help you get fit. We're going to change your story. So those are the client stories that get me out of bed.
Very cool.
Yeah.
I love that a lot.
I mean, what's really great about that too, though, in that we as individuals, we think we know what the answer is to our current problem. And it's interesting that for her, it was, well, to be a leader, to show myself as a leader, I have to do this bodybuilding competition. And then it's the realization that, well, while that's a great goal, and we were all competitors as well, there is something about that gives you a little juice and really separates you from other people, because very few people will ever step on a bodybuilding stage or a fitness competition type stage. But better than that is that realization that what I really need is I need to get into the word. What I really need is to just
Yeah.
change who I am as a person. And it's not about this external, like if I achieve this goal, then my son will have greater respect for me and see me as a leader, see me as a better mom. It's like, no. You don't need that external thing to do that. You just need to continue to work internally on yourself, which is absolutely amazing. I love that story.
I love it.
How does faith play a role in your business for you and for your wife? What I should say is, what role does faith play in your business?
Mm. Guys, you're gonna make me cry in this episode. Faith is something I've struggled with up until January of this year. Like I grew up in a Southern Baptist home. I always knew I was a really good guy, but I always knew I always knew that I knew God was out there, right? But I know I wasn't really ready to embrace that. And then January, this funny story, I go to Discover Strength, another high intensity training. So I drive 40 minutes, I go once a week, and I wanted to listen to a new podcast in January. I'm like, okay, personal development, let's go. And I was scrolling, and there was I'm not Catholic at all, but there was a picture of this Jack priest, real good looking guy. And I was like, I always kind of wanted to read the Bible. So my my first my first move this year was I started listening to the Bible in a year, and I didn't realize how crazy the Bible is. Like, holy jumping Geronimo, there are some like real stories that I had no idea existed. Eventually, I ran into this Instagram reel of another preacher in the I didn't even know that he's from the valley, and it just spoke to me. And I was just like, I'm gonna start listening to this guy's podcast. And so this is a true story. Why I'm just so passionate. My business partner was supposed to do breakfast with me after our workout, and he canceled the last minute. So I went to breakfast by myself, having some coffee, and God spoke to me. He's like, "You need to drive to that church right now." And I'm just like, "What?" Like, legitimately, I'm like, "What?" Like, I haven't been to church since I was, I don't know, 10, 12 years old. And I was like, how weird is this? And it was a Friday at 9 a.m. It's Friday at 9 a.m. I'm driving to church. I'm like, no one's going to be there. Right. I walk in and I'm pacing. I'm like, I don't know what to do. And there's a meeting going on. So I saw that there's some people there. And then there was a guy that came out. He's like, why are you here? Like, what's going on? And I broke down. And that day I said, I'm ready to give the keys over to someone that's not me driving the vehicle. Long story short, this is the crazy part. The church that I went to, they have an entrepreneurial event the first Friday of each month, and it happens from 8 to 10. So it was less than a like 0.01% chance that I ended up at that church on that day. If that doesn't tell you guys there's something out there, like that's, I've been a changed man ever since that moment. And now I
That
bring it into everything. If I'm working with a gym owner, and I'm gonna let them know that like I'm faith based. If they don't align with that, then you're not going to align the way that I teach sales, right? Like, is Greenlight, like, are we all faith based now? No. Could I see us going in that direction? Heck yeah. Heck, 100%, because that's what God put me on this earth for, conversations like this, to inspire people to be better, to connect, and to just give the keys over to a higher power. So it's the first time I've ever told the gospel on a podcast, guys. So I apologize if this is
No,
way
we agree.
unbalanced.
We couldn't be more honored that you spoke about it here and spoke about it here first,
yeah.
because faith plays a major role in our lives, and we recognize the impact having that at the top of your priority list, the top of your values list. What a difference it makes, because so many of us grew up in situations where we put God in a box. And we put that box aside because it wasn't convenient for that box to sit there and be privy to all the things that we were enjoying at the time. And, so it's very easy to say, you know what, I don't agree with that. And so many people they treat faith like a buffet, where they're going through the buffet and they're going, I like that, but I don't like that. I like that, but I don't like that. And they're picking and choosing. Whereas when you give yourself fully over to God, I mean, you are saying that I trust your way more than I trust my own.
Mm.
And I know that I'm not a perfect human being, that I
Mhm.
have flaws, but we all have those flaws. The fact that you still look at me as a son or a daughter, and love me as I am, and want to see better for me, and know that I have that you have something greater for me, if I'm willing to take you out of the box and put you in front of me
Mm.
and say, I am going to filter everything that I do through you. And for us, I'm just going to speak, Corey, Beth, and I as a couple, that's what we try to do. And I'm not going to say we do it, because none of us do it perfectly, but we try to filter everything through God first. And same goes for the business. The big decision that we made years ago was, we're going to make God our CEO.
Mhm.
Mike doesn't have to be the CEO. let God be the CEO,
Mm.
and I'd much prefer to take my marching orders from him than from myself because his plan is going to be perfect and mine is going to be grossly imperfect. So just we want to just honor you and thank you for
Sharing.
sharing that because it's incredible and congratulations because when you finally come to that place, I mean it is the most liberating feeling in the
Well,
world.
it's a place of throwing off the religion because a lot of the religious things that we see here on this earth are man-made. A lot of what we see done in churches that turn people off, I'm like, that's actually not in the Bible, So maybe it turned you off for a reason. Maybe you felt a little funny about that because that's actually not what God said. Man made that up. I think the other interesting and awesome thing is, I don't know about you growing up, Dave, but Christians were dorky when I was growing up. Like you kind of like, if you're doing keto, you're a loser.
Yeah, yeah.
If you're
Right. It's
Christian,
so
you're a
true.
loser and you're no fun. And I just think that we're so blessed to be chosen for this season here, like for such a time as this, that
Mhm.
Christianity, like our generation is waking up to the fact that it's not about being a perfect person. It's not about thinking you're better than other people. It is not about all the religious laws and acts. It's literally a relationship with God every day where you're like, God, help me be better. I'm an imperfect person. Help me be better. And yeah, I would just want to say congratulations to you. What I want to know is when you said, in that church or that moment, like I'm ready to give God the keys, what does that mean for you and your business?
Man, it's especially the way that I mentor gym owners, it's changed everything. Everything. So a lot of gym owners like that we work with, like they come in because they want to make more money, right? And now I'm freaking so brutally honest with them. The first conversation during the onboarding, I go, "Are you here to build a gym or are you here to build a movement?" I asked them that point blank and I challenged them. I'm not going to help gym owners build gyms anymore. Like I'm going to help them build movements and whatever they connect with. Like well, I'm going to help you connect with that because we all know that building a business is freaking hard. Running a gym in 2024, it's hard. So that's why, like for me, since really going on this faith based journey and really like just putting all my energy into God, like all of a sudden, if you wake up every single day with a mission to help and serve and to just put out great value into the universe, then you're going to win. You're going to sell high ticket programs. So it's completely changed who I am specifically as a gym mentor. In regards to the end user, I'm still figuring that out. I don't know what Greenlight, like I'm just, once again, like God, like whatever happens to Greenlight, it's going to happen to Greenlight. It's going to be, in your terms. Right now, I will say, like, I love when I get to onboard someone and they're like, you're a believer. I'm like, oh yeah. Oh yeah. We're going to build a movement together. And the results that our gym owners we work with have seen since me switching my mindset to like, yeah, we're going to help you get more leads. It's like, no, we're going to build a movement together. Like, and it's just for the right gym owner, man, does that messaging hit? So I could see this 100% though being green light. Like, hey, are you here to lose weight or are you here to live your most purpose driven life? A lot of people are going to say, this is the way that I sold mentorship programs in the past. A lot of people say that I'm here to live my best life. Amazing. We have a program. And for those people that aren't ready for it, guess what? It doesn't matter, right? Because I planted that seed that maybe one day you will be ready for it. And then we have the best freaking workouts in the world too. So we can just get you going with a North Star habit and 2 to 3 time efficient workouts. So talking about it out loud, like that is going to be a big part of what we sell at Greenlight moving forward. Is like, are you here to just change who you are, externally? Or are you here to change like who you are from the inside out?
I think that what you just basically shared is the gift in what we do. We can package it as you're going to lose weight and you're going to fit in the
Mm,
dress and you're going to get in the bathing
mm,
suit, but
mm.
it's like this way bigger gift, like on the other side, where we have to help people say, like, yeah, I'm going to help you solve this problem, but people don't even realize how much
Yeah.
better we can become, what we can tap into within ourselves, the gifts and the things that were already placed inside of us. And it's funny, someone recently said about our gyms, like, oh, like you're building an empire. And I was like, oh, no, no, no. This is a kingdom,
Mm,
because an empire, the people serve the king. In a kingdom, the king serves the people. And you said that so beautifully. Like it's just about serving those around you. When you go in with that heart, yes, we're also here to make money and put food on the table, but our bigger and higher calling and purpose is we want to see people's lives transformed. We want to see them healthier, better, more energized, happier mood, sleeping better, enjoying life, going on the hike, right? Doing all of the things that make their life better, that's what we're here for.
Yeah. And where I'm just going to speak for you, where I see the faith piece fitting into Greenlight is not dissimilar, as it fits in for us, in that you bringing that element in there. And I'm not talking about bringing it in where, people are getting baptized in the back room. Rather, it's like you're bringing an element in that makes your space different.
Can I just say, light, like there's the kingdom of darkness, there's the kingdom of light. Like you already have it in the name. And what you just said, like you're bringing in your light.
Yeah. And that's what makes all the difference. I mean, we've had people in the past come into our studio, and I'll just say, like, again, not in a prideful way, but I am proud of the fact that because of the light being there, the first words out of their mouth was, "This place is different." There's an there's an energy about it, and whether that person themselves were a person of faith or not, we've had both of them, both types say it.
There's
The
no
only
Bibles on the machines. There's no scripture on the wall, but they know it's different.
but it's
You know,
different.
it's different. Yeah.
And that's actually what we're called to do, is to be the example, not to go out and preach. You should
Yes.
be able to preach without using words.
Mm.
It's your actions, it's your attitude, it is the light that you bring. And that's where I see Greenlight going, is exactly down that path. Now we're getting to prophesying here, but I am going to prophesy for a moment. Yeah,
Oh, I love it.
absolutely.
Yes. Yeah, one of my favorite sayings is show, don't tell. I follow that in all aspects of life, right? Like I don't know the Bible that good right now, so I'm not going to be on the streets, but I can show. I can show up for people and I can help and I can serve and I can give them value, right? And I can do little things like checking in on my best friend yesterday and like, hey buddy, I was thinking of you today. How are you doing? Like it's show, don't tell. So I can't agree with you more. Like that's the way that I teach to my gym owners. Like, don't tell people what to do, show them what to do. And
Mm.
then people naturally, they're going to trust you so much more. So I love that.
Amazing. Well, now that we're BFFs, this was fun.
Yes.
This is
Um,
incredible, guys.
no, I love it
This
so
is
much.
beyond what I thought. I knew it would be a great conversation just based off of the initial conversation you and I had. But this has been so much more than that. And so we appreciate you being here. You're doing great, great work. And we know you'll continue to do great work for those gym owners that you're serving. And then also the clients that are going to be served through Greenlight.
Yeah, thank you for bringing your light to this podcast interview. It was amazing.
I
And
love
tell
it.
people, where can they find you? Where can they learn more about you? How are they going to connect?
Yeah. I just started an Instagram 3 days ago. It's called the Greenlight Movement. Just the Greenlight Movement. I'm showing the world exactly what we're doing at Greenlight, and it's our goal. This is going to sound wild. We're going to become $1 million club in the next 12 months, but it's not about the money. It's about the impact. So we're going to change 150 lives in the community. So this is for the end user, for gym owners. Like this is a page we're sharing all of our tactics and strategies. We're sharing all of our wins and just getting the messaging out there of what's potential if someone's ready.
Amazing. Well, we are sending so much love and light back to you, your wife, your two beautiful kids, and we look forward to connecting with you soon, Dave. Thanks so much.
Absolutely, guys.